Broadcasting from the heart of downtown Hollywood. This is SoFloRadio.com.
Good evening, and welcome to Rick's Show on the Radio, August edition. It is a appropriately stormy afternoon here. All of a sudden, the sun went away, and all the clouds are out, and it kind of feels like fall all of a sudden, doesn't it? Except for the 100-degree heat, right? Yeah. Well, I want to welcome to my show, introduce my friends and panel all around me here. First, I want to introduce you to myself. My name is Rick Santees, and I'm a local musician, filmmaker. Been around here for quite a while, working in the local music scene. And now I have a radio show, and what I get to do with my radio show is talk to musicians and filmmakers and our world shakers. And what I mean by world shakers are people that are working through the arts with their communities, helping out the communities, through arts. And I'm happy to have Michael Thomas here from Rock the Cure. Is that Rock for?
It's Rock for the Cure.
Rock for the Cure. How you doing there?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. All right. I also want to introduce him, but first I wanted to say hello to my producer, David Goldenholtz. How you doing, David?
How you doing?
All right. I just want to say hi to him. And we want to say thanks to South Florida Radio, or SoFloRadio.com, for sponsoring our show every Thursday. And George Rodriguez back there. How's it going? You want to say?
Hey.
He's saying,
I'm doing all right.
He's doing okay. He's a real pro. We're going to show him a few things about radio, though. But you need a microphone. Never mind, George. Anyway.
I don't know what that is.
Anyway, I'm going to get down to the real interview with the vampire here. I'm very happy to introduce my new friend, Riccardo Bocanegra, from the band The Black Bats. Very interesting goth band. Hello, Riccardo. How are you, sir?
Hey, Rick. How are you? Thanks for having me.
All right. I'm glad to have you, man, in our little studio here. We're going to talk about your band and I guess the whole goth subculture, which I really didn't know Florida had much of one. But Riccardo, why don't you introduce yourself as and your association with the band and why you're here today?
Okay. Well, as you said, I'm Riccardo. I am the songwriter, a guitar player, and a vocalist for the Black Bats, along with my lady bat friends. Cheryl Valentine, who is the lead vocalist, incredible, and we'll get to hear one of our tracks a little bit later on, and her incredible vocal ability.
Right.
And my other bat friend, Sin, who is the bass player and just an all-around amazing musician, and she's done some great projects with Human Factors Lab and Half Head, and toured all around the United States as well. So lucky to have both of them working with me and all of us working together.
Are the girls listening right now?
I'm hoping they are. They're both busy at work, so I'm hoping that maybe they're slipping off in some type of room to...
Surely there's time to get on Facebook while you're at work or something like that, right?
Depending on where you work.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, and you, my friend, how long have you been a resident of Florida?
I moved here in 2002, I want to say, from Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles, California. What did you do in Los Angeles then?
I was a musician, and I was heavy into the gothic / vampire culture there for many, many years, since the late 80s, not to date myself, but
wow. No, that's okay. That's allowed here, especially since I'm in my, never mind, I'm not going to say how old I am on the radio.
Late 80s.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for stopping me there, by the way. Yeah, so man, there's got to be quite a difference between we'll talk about our South Florida, original music culture that's down here, but in particular, the music that comes from the goth vibe. Is there one down here? I mean, there's got to be now that you're here.
Well, I think music evolves, like all types of music evolve, and even the gothic music, the gothic scene, subculture, it's in itself has these subcategories. Now it's kind of labeled dark wave. There was a type of music called emo, and that stemmed off of gothic, and there seems to be a bit of a resurgence of the gothic scene, but there's a bit of one here. It's electronic dance type of dark wave, more of a scene, but it's a lot different in Los Angeles. At least when I left, there's such a vast variety of that dark element. The clubs that you had there were separated. They were gothic clubs, they were vampire clubs, they were industrial clubs, they were fetish clubs, but they were all separate.
Well, we could talk about those clubs in a sec, but what about down here now? What are you finding? I know that some of your friends are in bands, goth bands around here. Do you know some other goth bands, and where do you guys play around here?
Well, there's only a few gothic artists, at least in South Florida. There's A Starry Night. They're amazing musicians out of South Florida. Fright Doll, also a gothic act out of South Florida. We do play some venues here, when it calls for it, but we travel a lot. We do other venues out of state. Sometimes there's a bigger audience for that. But there's definitely a calling for it here. You just have to kind of find the spots.
Speaking of that, where are the spots? You got any places where, or is it a secret, or?
No, there's a few clubs. There's a club that's ran once a week. It's called Circle, and it's kind of a gothic industrial dance club, and it's put on by Fetish Factory. And there's another club called Vamp, and it's put on by Josepher, and he does a lot of the alternative type of clubs, if you will.
Alternative.
Yeah, that's a good word, huh?
Yeah. Well, I guess that leads to the segregation of those subcultures. I guess was there more of a market for it in Los Angeles and down here?
I think so many people were into that scene there. There were subcultures of that. And one thing I noticed when I moved to Florida is going or searching out some type of alternative club scene. When I went there, it was a little unusual for me that it was all under one roof. I was labeled fetish, but when you went in there was industrial people, gothic people, vampiric people, fetish people, all under one roof. And it's lucky that there are places like the Fetish Factory that hosts these types of events once a month to get these eclectic type of individuals together.
Yeah. Well, I know I was a little bit. I needed to learn about the culture myself because we have an event coming up on Saturday, which we're going to talk about here. Our very unique event called Cinemuzique. At this event, our theme for that is a Victorian Gothic theme. I kind of threw the Victorian thing in there because I like steampunk.
Sometimes it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I really do. And I saw, and when I was how I met you guys, which is kind of a cool story. You had mentioned the band A Starry Night. And when I was going to put together this event here at Cinema Paradiso, I was looking for a goth band, and a friend of mine turned me on to A Starry Night, who, for whatever reason, they could not make it, and they were kind enough to tell me about you guys, and that's the way it is sometimes, So now we're going to be doing this awesome, cool Cinemuzique event where we play a live performance along with video accompaniment, and that's going to be interesting. And it's a hosted thing as well, so it's an intimate performance, if you will. It's not like a concert or a bar or something like that. People are at a movie theater and enjoying your music, and we'll stop and we'll talk to the performers, and Usually we speak with the directors of music videos, which we'll get a chance to with Queen Dementia, who's going to be playing here as well. But your band is a very theatrical band. I don't really see anybody doing anything else like what you're doing here. How'd you get involved with the theatrics of music?
I've always, since I can remember, been into the theatrical side or the visual side of music. I always thought they went hand in hand, and I fronted a band called the Cadillac Creeps for multiple years, and that was extreme theatrics to a whole nother level. And
what do you mean? Is it what was your what was the theme of that band?
it was horror rock. So the influences were Kiss, Alice Cooper, Rob Zombie, and it was a lot of preparation just to get ready for a show and just to get ready in general. And it amazing shows in front of thousands. So it was pretty spectacular. And in taking a break and all the band members doing side projects, I decided to go back to my roots, which is Gothic music. I've always had a love for electronic, dark, vampiric type of music, so I started the Black Bats. I knew that Cheryl was an amazing vocalist, and I knew Sin was an incredible bass player, so I contacted them to see whether or not they wanted to join in, because they shared the same love of the music I did, and it was a hit. And ever since then, we've been going and playing shows like Cinemuzique.
Yeah. Well, when did you guys first form the Black Bats? How long ago?
Really, really new. I mean, we've all performed, experienced, and seasoned. We've been in other projects, but we actually formed in December. I had the idea, and I had a huge party at my house, and they came, and I approached them there with a few cocktails in me. So sometimes those are the best ideas, or come at the best times.
Sometimes if it's a few cocktails in them, it's even better.
Yeah, it could work to your advantage.
That's great. So relatively new, and so as I understand it, you guys are actually in the studio as we speak. Is that correct?
Yes, we are in Art of Noise Studios in Fort Lauderdale, and working with an amazing producer and engineer, Arthur Granquist. And he's just been pumping out the sound that we really want. Working with him is incredible. And we actually have a single that we're releasing off of the album called Nyctophilia, which is the love of everything that is night and dark. And we're going to be shooting a video off of this single that we're released, and an amazing videographer is going to be working with us. You may know him.
I don't know how amazing videographer he is, but he's definitely a visionary. And of course, I'm looking forward to helping you myself with that music video. I really am.
Yeah, I guess not a lot of people know that that's what you do.
Yeah, well, not a lot of people know me anyway, and so that's the thing. But they will know you guys, that's for sure. That's you guys stand out there. Your band is doing something different, and Florida needs that. I mean, there's enough jeans and T-shirt bands out there. Everybody's got jeans and T-shirts, and why not put a top hat and goggles on, and something like that.
Well, we do keep it interesting, and just to touch base on that, I know some amazing, as you put it, jeans and T-shirt bands, and I definitely think that music is priority, and the talent comes from the music, and being able to project that on stage and with recordings and having people really get into your music. Not everyone has to be visual. We chose to be visual, and it's entertaining for us. We have a good time with it, and it's something that we love to do, both the visual and the audio aspect of our music. And we are a very visual band, and you'll be able to see that when we shoot the video, which we're shooting in New Orleans.
Yeah.
We're actually headlining the Anne Rice Vampire Lestat.
Yeah, I wanted to get into that. Yes, tell me about that. It's the Anne Rice. What is she doing over there?
What is she? what is she doing over there? Well, you know who Anne Rice is. She's
of course.
Well, she's back with a vengeance. She has
a new book.
The Interview with the Vampire. Well, Excellent. It's Vampire Lestat book that she's releasing on October 28th. And, she hasn't written a part to the Vampire Chronicles in quite some time. So It's exciting news. She also signed a deal, I believe it was with Universal, that they're going to be making some of her books into movies, which is incredible. If you're an Anne Rice fan, which I am.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But every year there's a huge party in New Orleans, and it is just an event where it's very vampiric and, like you said, Victorian, and it's an incredible event. This year it falls on a Friday night, which is when Halloween is, so it's going to be incredible.
Yeah. That
in
sounds
New
like the
Orleans.
coolest Halloween thing to do in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping that it's going to be.
Yeah.
We're very excited to be invited by Sue, who's putting on the whole event, to perform there, and it's just going to be something that should be legendary.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I really am. I've never experienced anything like that, and it's going to be great. But I'll tell you what, I know one of the big things about the show today is going to be a debut of the single, right, off of your
Right.
release here.
Correct. This is going to be the single we're releasing. The name of the album is Nyctophilia, and this single off the album is Nyctophilia. And like I said, this is what we're going to be shooting our video off of.
And you brought in a sample of the music for us to hear and for everybody else to hear for the first time in the whole world?
Yes, this is never... Actually, this... a few hours ago was...
Yeah.
we rushed the mix for the show.
Fresh.
So,
The wax is still warm, right?
Yeah, it's still warm.
All right. Well, guess what else we're going to do? We're going to do a little Cinemuzique thing with it as well. If David here, I know he can do it. He's all ready to go. We are going to actually, since we don't really have a music video, we're going to have a little sample of the kind of video accompaniment.
Imagery.
Imagery, goth imagery and stills and stuff like that that are going to be behind you on the big screen at Cinemuzique. So while we debut your brand new song, Nyctophilia, we're going to play a little video with that. So folks out there, enjoy. Let's listen to the world premiere of Nyctophilia by the Black Bats.
Ich liebe der Nacht und mehr als ich liebe dich. Ich bin für immer dein und ich bin für immer allein. There's a light in my heaven, reaching out to touch my skin. I must avoid the piercing radiance, shelter in my coffin from the dead. Darkness whispers Darkness kisses me away. Ich liebe der Nacht und mehr als ich liebe dich. Ich bin für immer dein und ich bin für immer allein. I rise at dusk, summoned by shadows, a nocturne pleasing to my soul, a sun-bleached garden in the night is a lovely graveyard in the night. Nacht und mehr als ich liebe dich. Ich bin für immer dein und ich bin für immer allein. Your velvet glow surrounds my body. Oh my sweet night, you rock my heart. My darling darkness, you enrapture me. I am euphoric in obscurity.
There you go, world. The premiere of Nyctophilia. That's great, man. Hot off the press there. That's great. Now, who wrote that song?
I wrote the music, and the wonderful Miss Cheryl wrote the lyrics to it. And I really appreciate you getting up and dancing, Rick. That was awesome.
Yeah, I asked David if he would put the radio, instead of that video that we played, because I consider myself primarily a dancer.
Really?
Yes, I really do, yes.
Some fine moshing, too. I wasn't expecting that. That's going to take me a while to recover.
Yeah. What got me was the leopard thong. I don't think I'll ever get that out of my head.
Oh, my God. Neither can everybody else now. All right, so that was an awesome song. I really like that, and we're looking forward to you guys doing the Cinemuzique event, man. It's going to be great. And you folks out there, if you like that song and that that video, if you were watching on your computer, is just something that I mixed up there that's going to be in the background for the Black Bats when they're playing their their whole set worth of new music, new original music for you guys, and with some really cool vampiric gothic vibe in the background there. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
We are too.
Yeah. So you guys have, I know, like you said, you're working on a new album, but you do have one other song that's out there for people to hear as well, right?
Yeah, this song wasn't really recorded in a studio, but there was so much promotion so fast. Things were happening so fast with the Black Bats that people kept asking for music, and we really had no choice but to put something out prior to our album. So it may not be the best recording in the world. This song is called Hollow, and we actually released it prior to recording anything, which sometimes when you're a full electronic band, it can be a little bit easier than having acoustic drums and everything going on. So
right,
it was.
Let me ask you a little bit more about that, your type of music, and did you guys consciously make a choice to go electronic, or did you have an acoustic drummer with you, or how does that work with you?
That was a very, very conscious choice. I just like the electronic feel. I love a live drummer. I played with a live drummer for a long time. I mean, I played with one of the best live drummers in the world. His name was John Morchall, and he was just a monster on the drum. Luckily to have him as a good friend and a fellow musician. So I'm definitely not opposed to that. But for this project, it's had
sound.
to be, yeah, the electronic sound needed to be there.
Right.
We do a lot of crossover into dance clubs and stuff, and when we, rock bands are awesome. Been in a rock band forever, but you play at certain places, which are great places, but there are other places, for instance, that the Black Bats play at, where they have people dancing and DJs, and when the DJ stops and we start, it's seamless. It goes right along because we're electronic, so people can still enjoy themselves, on the dance floor, and there's not all of a sudden this needle on the record type of situation where they're thinking, what is this rock band doing in this club? You know what I mean?
I never thought about it that way, but I guess you're right. It does, if you can go seamlessly from a DJ to to a live performance and not have it be like so different.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So that's one of the benefits of being electronic. Another is our drummer is he's very reliable. He's very steady. He's very portable.
Doesn't take him long to set up.
No, we actually use a few drum machines, and depending on the song, depending on the sound, but it's not for everyone. It is for us, and we actually really enjoy writing and constructing music electronically that way.
Now, is this song "Hollow" that we're going to play? Is this one of your first songs that you guys wrote together? As the Black Bats?
Yes, it is one of the very first songs that we wrote together as the Black Bats, and like I said, we needed to put something out, so we released it and put it out there, and it had a good response, even though it wasn't a studio recording. So that kind of projected us into recording an album, and starting with the video shoot and the whole 9 yards as the demand started to really, really come in. And some shows we've had to turn down because we can't travel that much. And I mean, not that we're a hot commodity. It's not like that at all. It has
Not
more
yet.
to do with not yet.
You will be.
It has to
Yeah.
do with supply and demand. So
Right.
if you have, just as an example, 10 electronic gothic vampiric bands and you have 20 venues, well, then there's a supply and demand thing there. So it's
Right.
not like, the Black Bats are the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they are, but I'm in it.
Sure, yeah. Little bias there.
But
Well,
you know what I mean, right?
Yes, I do, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your percentages are probably a lot smaller here because there's
Yeah.
not very many places to play and there's not very many goth bands around. Maybe.
No, and when someone's looking for one, like yourself, then they find one.
Right. I'm interested in hearing some other bands. I was turned on to your friends in A Starry Night, and I
They're
listened
amazing.
to some of their stuff, and they were very nice guys as well, because when I was looking for a goth band for the Cinemuzique event on Saturday, we approached them first, and unfortunately they couldn't make it, but they were nice enough to say, hey, our friends in the Black Bats might be ready. So
I will say this: you'll find that a lot in the gothic community. People are usually like that. They're connected. They're family-like, and they'll do things like that. So
Yeah.
that's another positive thing.
that is a positive thing. That
Maybe
I
because
found.
we're so limited in such a small group that we try to help each other.
Right. Yeah, you gotta fight off all the jeans and t-shirt bands.
There you go again with the jeans.
I know.
T-shirts.
Wait, I'm gonna get them in here, and they're gonna be mad at me. That's okay. I'll make something up. It'll be all right.
Well, there's an old saying, and I know you'll agree with this. There's really only two kinds of music: good music and bad music. So it doesn't really matter what you wear, what you look like. There's just good music and bad music in all genres. We just happen to look like a bunch of vampire freaks, but I think we still play pretty good music.
Yeah, judging from that last song. Listen, I have a plan here, and I'm gonna let David know about it since he's our producer. That I'm not gonna play that music video. I mean that song right yet, because what I like to do is talk to our friend Michael Thomas over here. He's been silent, and just a little bit about why Michael's on the show. Our show, this show on the radio here, is basically talking about Florida culture. So I speak with, South Florida's original bands, and we'll have some filmmaker friends come up and talk as well. But there's another segment in there called The World Shakers. And what that segment is that people are giving recognition to people who are doing things in their communities, reaching out and helping out folks in the communities. And Michael Thomas is here because he is a world shaker. You're our first world shaker on the Rick's Show on the radio,
Hey,
Michael.
how you doing?
Pleased to meet you, man. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. So we met, as a matter of fact, on the same night that I met you, Riccardo, at your show. And that was a show you were putting on a benefit for...
Yeah, it's a charity benefit called Rock for the Cure. About 2 years ago, I got into this organization. It's the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and they raise money to help provide funding for research on blood cancers, support for families and people going through, treatments, developing new treatments. There was a pill that was created by a doctor, and he ran out of funding for second-run clinical trials, and nobody wanted to give him money because they didn't believe that you could do anything with cancer with a pill. And Leukemia Lymphoma Society said, we'll give you money, we'll fund your research. And now that drug not only is a viable treatment for blood cancers, they've worked on a second-generation drug for stomach cancer as well, from what I understand. And there's a book called The Magic Bullet. And I actually was at... let me get into the organization. I run for Team in Training, which is an offset of the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. We actually go out, we fundraise, and we compete in competitive events, running events, triathlons. I have done 2 half marathons, 2 full marathons, and I'm getting ready to start training in a couple weeks for my next half marathon. And what happens when we do these events, and they do them all across the country, it's a completely national thing. My first half marathon was in Alaska. I went to Anchorage, Alaska. We flew out. There was about 1,500, 2,000 people from Team in Training there, represented from every state except for 2. And then they did one. I did one in San Diego, which was my half marathon. That was more like 5,000 people because that was one of their majorly sponsored events. But the night before every race, they have a dinner for all the friends and family of the organization, and they have guest speakers. You can submit photos. They do these collages of friends and families who are survivors who have passed, and it's just a real way to gather and really understand the impact of what you do. Because, like I said, when you came up to me and you're like, "Oh, you're a world shaker," I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm just doing a little rock show." It's not. I mean, I had 50 people come and pay $5 to watch some awesome bands and do some raffles. And
that
things
means
like
you're
that.
a world shaker, my friend.
I know, but the thing is, you don't.
He's
when
downplaying it.
When you're doing it, you mean the impact of it. Because I've had people, during races, holding signs up saying, "I was able to live 2-3 more years because of you. I'm able to enjoy life today because of the work that you do." And that's when it really hits you. Like, that's the moment that I got a letter in the mail saying, "Hey, join this organization." And I was going through a transition period in my life where I was looking at different career options. I wanted to do something positive. I wanted to make a difference. I said, "Oh, well, this looks good." So I went to an information meeting. I got some more information, and my first event was Alaska. And you have a minimum fundraising goal that, and that covers your training, your race, and it used to cover airfare. At the time, my first race, I raised a little over $5,000 to go to Alaska and run a half marathon. And it was amazing. And it was funny because that was my first race. I was overweight. I was a smoker. I was not an athletic person at all. And I lost like 50-something pounds. I quit smoking. And I remember, gearing up for the race, and we went to that dinner, and that's where I met the woman who was the first patient to try that magic bullet pill. And it's just so amazing when they're talking, because these people, I mean, you can't, it's hard to sit through a dinner without losing it, without tears coming out of your eyes because of, the people and their struggles and their triumphs and their losses. And it's just a wonderful, amazing, a very emotional evening. And it was funny because I was saying, "Oh, well, I'm going to do a bunch. I'll do some half marathons, and eventually I'll do a full marathon, and eventually I'll want to do a triathlon." And I sat at that dinner listening to that woman, and she was like an older woman. She was a teacher, and she's done full marathons. And I thought to myself, well, I can do this. And my very next race, I went to Disney down here in Orlando and did my first full marathon. and it's an incredible experience. I tell you, when you're crossing a finish line after doing 26.2 miles, the emotion that floods through your system. It's like, I mean, it's funny because they take your picture as you run through the finish line. And I'm running, I'm thinking, all right, I'm like, don't be a blubbering mess. Don't be a blubbering mess. Don't be and I point up in the air and I was like, yeah. And then as soon as they were putting the medal on around my neck, it's just like, I just,
26 miles?
26.2 miles.
0.2.
Yeah. It's not the 26 miles it gets, it's that 0.2 at the end.
God, when I just crossed the street, I feel like I'm victorious.
Yeah.
By the way, I think I know why it's 26.2 miles.
Why is that?
Well, because it was the length of distance between some Greek city and another Greek city where they had the first. Yeah, is that correct? Something like that? See?
Thermopylae in Athens.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, George. I appreciate that. All right. See, that's where I got that from, was George. Thank you. You just earned your pay for today.
I just made that up. I just threw some Greek names out there.
Oh. So Thermopylae.
It was like, I think Marathon was one of the cities that they had to run to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
From the Thermopylae, for the Spartans who were holding them off.
Right. So it's 26.2 miles.
26.2. And then obviously half marathon is 13.1, which is a little. Oh. Yeah. Well, so besides doing the marathons for them, that's the one half of the organization. The other half is the fundraising, the real mission, finding a cure. Right. And that's what we do. We everyone gets you sign up. You have a minimum fundraising goal. I have a website you can go on. You can see I have a picture up how much money I've raised so far. So far we've raised a little just under 1,000. I'm at right now. This Saturday I'll be up at a Publix in front of a Publix with a little jar and a little bell, like asking for money.
Yeah, part of the deal.
What's the name or what's the address of that Publix? So we know.
It's the one on Flamingo, and it's in no, not Sunrise. Oh man.
Pembroke Pines.
Yeah, Pembroke Pines. It's
Okay.
Pines and Flamingo. That's it. The one on Pines and Flamingo. I'll be staying at. From 12 to 2. I'll be there, but there'll be different people out there all day. There's from the morning till the afternoon. They have people out there. So.
Now, Rock for the Cure. Now,
where
I met you guys is that a separate thing or is it a?
Well, it's my thing. See.
Good.
In the organization, you have a lot of support. You have coaches, you have team captains who help train you, you have mentors who help you fundraise. I've been a captain and a mentor over the last 2 years. And part of the thing is they tell you, pool your resources, figure out what you're good at. How can you raise money for the organization? What can you do? People do bake sales. People do, like I said, stand on front Publix. There's people who have little races. They'll purchase medals. They'll create up a theme for a race. There's a medal company, and then for $30 you sign up, and it's called a virtual marathon. And everybody you run it on your own, and then you tell them your time and everything, and they give you a medal for it. And it's just it's a fun way to raise money. You get a cool little medal, and technically you're doing a race. If you do 13.1 miles, you do 13.1 miles. If you do 26.2 miles, they're usually half marathons with the virtual ones, because friends and family get together, they'll do it together, they'll have a good time, and you get some medals and you raise some money. The way I got into Rock for the Cure was my buddy who does my flyers, the flyers that the poster you saw, that was a flyer made into a poster. My buddy Dan Jackson designed it for me. He's a graphic designer, and he's a great guy. Him and a couple other of my friends were doing these little shows, these little thrash metal local band shows, right? And they're a lot of fun, small little hole in the wall bar, and they call me and say, hey, why don't you come out and hang out with us? Okay, so I went out and I just started team and training. It was my getting ready. I just started and I had my first practice and everything, and I go up and I'm talking about it. I'm like, oh man, I'm so psyched. I'm gonna do a half marathon. I'm raising money. It's for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and it's awesome. And the girl who is the promoter of the event walked up to me. Her name is Darlene Blasphemy, and she comes up and she goes, I'm a survivor, and what you're doing is awesome, and I wanted to say thank you. And I was like, wow. I was like, that's all. Well, I mean, I'm just doing. She, no. In my eyes, you're a hero, and that's what you are. And I don't care what you say, because I mean, it's all new to me, and I'm like, I'm just signed up to do some races and raise some money and have some fun.
So how many of the Rock the Cure shows have you done so far, Mike?
I haven't taken an exact count, but it'd probably be around 10 of them.
10.
Yeah, the first one we did was called Mosh for the Cure, and my friend Darlene helped me put it together. We didn't ask for a cover at first. We had a really small raffle. Just one this one person who was a really cool person donated a bunch of stuff. We asked for donations. We raised $250 with the raffle, and I had some shirts made up. It was the only time I was able to make shirts for this event because it's really hard to find vendors who are willing, because it's all me. Most of the cost from the shows comes right out of my pocket, so it's a little hard for me to do things all the time. But I try, like Rico will tell you, when he was in the Cadillac Creeps, I had them do a couple of my shows. And one time I had posters of them made because we were at one of their shows, and my friend took some really good digital shots. So I went on this website that makes posters and shirts and stuff, and I had a full regular size poster of each one of their band members with their name in a cool font and their logo on the top.
Yeah.
Actually, I was able to get his poster, because one of my friends won it.
I have it hanging over my bed.
Yeah, we yeah.
Just kidding.
No.
When I can do things like that, like for one show, I took all the bands. They sent me some stuff from the band, and they had like the metal prints.
Yeah.
I found a Groupon for $5 metal prints, so I had a whole bunch of metal prints made up from the bands, and we gave them away, and people signed them. I bring little Sharpies for people to sign.
That's great, man.
But the first one, like I said, was Mosh for the Cure, and wasn't much. And then my next one, which we started doing at a bar called Mugshots, which is a little bit bigger than the first venue, and I changed it to Rock for the Cure, because my friend's like, well, that was, the bands we had at that one was a lot more hardcore, so it was more fitting. And my friend's like, well, why don't we change it a little much, since the bands aren't going to be as heavy. You don't want people to think, oh, it's just going to be some kind of grungy thing that, like, oh, it's a Rock for the Cure. So we said Rock for the Cure. Okay, great. Yeah. So he designed me a poster. We got like 4 or 5 bands. Actually, no, I think it was 5 or 6 bands at the first one, and we got some raffle prizes. I started charging a $5 cover. Right. We raised $900 the second one.
Great. So it's been progressive. Let me ask you this. Do you find it easy to, when these bands, are they willing to give their time to your organization?
Yes and no. There are bands that like Rico, man, has been great. He's done more than like at least 3 or 4 shows with the Black Bats, Cadillac Creeps. I've had bands that want to do it, but there always seem to be some scheduling conflicts. Right. I've had bands say they would do it, and then they pull out. And I've had bands that have joined in the last minute, like the last minute. Oh, I'll do it. Right. I've had bands that contemplate. Hey, look, I heard you're doing a show. I want to be a part of it. So there are different bands. Some bands that are just not interested in it, and that's fine. And then there are bands that are very supportive of it, which those are the bands I look for. And I like to have an eclectic mix. I like to have showcase many different talents, and I have some bands that have done a bunch of them, and I've had them do one, and then I've had them
great
still wanting to do, but we're trying to get the scheduling
good. So you just had an event where I met you at. Do you have how often do you schedule your Rock for the Cure concert events?
I like to at least have a couple months in advance. Sometimes it's hard to get bands to commit a couple months in advance, but the ones that do make it more viable, like we'll set a date. And this last one, I did it all within a month. I did it 1 month, and it actually was pretty seamless, because everyone involved was really excited. All the bands, all the vendors, because we have vendors come out too. I have some really cool vendors come out, and then I have people who donate raffle prizes. I mean, I've built up a repertoire, because and the bands will tell you, this guy is legit. He does what he says he's gonna do, and I always do. We started giving away guitars. We get Schecter guitars from a really good friend of mine, Richard Pierce, who's in a band called Rambler. He's an amazing person, and he was actually, he's been in a bunch of different bands. I've known him for many years, and Schecter sponsors them, so we're able to get guitars.
So it's just getting better and better.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, my friend. Next time you have your event, let me know, and we'll come back here and we'll talk some more about
That'd be excellent.
Yeah. All right, Michael Thomas, our world shaker for the Rick's Show on the radio. And actually, we have a new guest here, and I'm going to switch over to Michelle Fillippi. She is from Cinema Paradiso. You are hello, Michelle.
Hey, Rick, how are you? Well, first of all, congratulations, because something good has come out of Cinemuzique.
Oh, yeah?
You have your own radio show, so I must say congratulations. So even though we don't continue, at least
that came out good.
You have your radio show, so congrats on that, and thank you once again, Jorge,
Thank
for
you.
believing in that raw talent here.
Yeah,
in
thanks, George.
South Florida.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
So
We do.
thanks for inviting me today. And obviously, I think we're here today. One of the reasons is, first of all, you've been very persistent, I must say. So Cinemuzique is back with its third edition.
Yes.
This time around, we wanted to go big all the way. And that's why I offered Cinema Paradiso Fort Lauderdale for this occasion, especially with this type of music, with this theme that we have going on. And after I met Quinn Dementia, I'm like, no, the perfect venue definitely is Cinema Paradiso Fort Lauderdale, especially that it used to be a church a long time ago. So it goes well with the theme you have planned. And so we're very excited.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will be a total success, and we can continue doing these types of programs to support local filmmakers, local bands, and that's what it's all about here. And Cinema Paradiso, the film festival, is really proud to be part of this. And thank you, Rick.
we do. We really do appreciate you opening the venue to South Florida bands, especially for this type of show where, it's a little different. We get to, involve the live performance with the movie theme as well, and that calls for a little different show, especially when it's in a theater. It's a different atmosphere. So we're really looking forward to this one here. A little glimpse into the fall Halloween season, a little early, but nothing wrong with that, right?
No.
So Michelle, tell me. We have the Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival coming up soon here, and I know that you and Mr. Greg von Hosch were in Cannes recently. Is that how you say that? Cannes?
The festival, Festival.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience. Definitely, I must say. I must thank, can I say it, Air France?
Sure,
for
why
being
not?
the sponsor.
That's my
because
show.
That's what it all came about. Don't think that, as a nonprofit, we have all those funds to go there. But I was persistent as well. And I got a wonderful sponsorship from Air France, and they gave us the tickets. And that's how I went all the way to Cannes.
Yeah.
I saw 25 movies in 12 days.
Holy cow, that's a schedule.
Because that's what it's all about. It's not only what people see on TV, which is the Hollywood stars, the red carpet. What I enjoyed even the most was that it's an international movie market. So while you see the red carpet going on at the main venue, there's all these other little theaters like Cinema Paradiso showing movies from all over the world. And so people are just going in and out, watching movies, writing whatever they like or they don't like. So hopefully some of the movies that we saw over there, we'll be able to bring them here to the film festival this year. We're celebrating our 29th year. 29. And the festival is from November the 7th to the 23rd. Usually it's in October, but this year it changed. It's a little bit shorter than usual because we are in the Guinness World Record as the longest running film festival in the world. And so it's exciting. In October, though, we're going to have a Romanian film festival. So
Really?
Yeah, that's something different.
It's right up my alley.
Yeah, Romanian, and we're gonna have some actors coming from Romanian, directors, and so that'd be a fun week. We're also gonna be celebrating in September the 20th anniversary of Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a classic.
One of my favorites.
Even though it's only from the 90s, but let's consider it already a classic in the movie. So we're going to do something special over there in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
And just remember, we have also Hollywood here, Cinema Paradiso, only a block away. You can come and enjoy foreign films, independent movies. We kick off this week with Boyhood, which is going to be considered, and right now already, one of them, a masterpiece. You know, and so hopefully somebody of you can come and see this movie Boyhood right around the corner.
Did you guys pick a whole bunch of movies to play for the festival when you were in Cannes?
Well, that's where the negotiation begins. It's not just only imagine a little nonprofit, even though we have a history of 29 years being a film festival, but obviously you're competing with major studios. So it becomes a back and forth negotiation process and trying to convince them that, you know, we're the right venue and the right festival to show their movie, especially begging.
Are you a negotiator, or is that Greg's job?
No, it's more his job. I just gave him the all the movies and my opinions of all those 25 movies. And there's really some great movies that are worth, because not all the movies that you see fit, the Fort Lauderdale Film Festival, and but we also have a great program in the film festival, which is the local filmmakers, which is the Florida Sunshine program. So I think that's where you had one of your shorts.
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. That's where we met when I was a part of that. Yep.
So we'll continue.
Yeah. We really do. Like I said, we appreciate the fact that Cinema Paradiso not only shows, independent films, different, foreign films and things like that, but they are involved with the local community, which is, says a lot about the management that of them and this vision to put on something like Cinemuzique. That takes a lot of energy to put on something like that, and I think that show will catch on. Really, I think it's got a unique flavor. What do you think, Rico? You'd like something like that? Shows like that?
Absolutely.
Have you ever been to Cinema Paradiso?
Years ago I went. I had heard about it and I drove by, and I just thought it was amazing. And I popped my head inside, and I was really, really impressed. Well, because it just looks so really gothic and dark, and such a wonderful place. That's another reason why we're so excited to perform there.
And we have a full liquor bar too.
That always helps.
Yes, and not only that, sorry to interrupt, Michael.
No,
we have for this show, we got some Gothic artists that are going to be displaying on the patio.
How many are they?
Well, I got 4, actually, if I can remember who everybody is. I know my friend Dominic Daniels going to be viewing his art, Kelsey McQuaid, and, I'll remember the other ladies after we come back.
Nice.
And we got like four artists that are going to be out there and, viewing, somewhat Gothic themed art. We pulled it together there for that. So, we got the patio. Why not? So it should be a cool show. That starts at 6:00. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Appreciate all my guests here today at the Rick Show on the radio. And we're going to play one more song here from the Black Bats. This is a song that one of the first songs that the Bats put together here. And this song is called Hollow. And we'll see you guys next week on Rick's Show on the radio.
Children of the night, what music they make.
Always a princess. Gowns, very light.
what music plays.
I cannot wake without weeping. I cannot weep without knowing where apart. I cannot know just what you're dreaming. I cannot dream to drown the dullness of my heart. You left me alone, empty, dismal void. You left me alone, sunken, naked, bare. You left me alone. There's always a process. You left me alone. There's always a process. You left me alone. The face. You left me alone. It's a river.
SoFloRadio.com, the South Florida Radio Network.